Hi everyone and welcome to techsperts. As you can see, we are coming to you live from the Telenor headquarters Innovation Center, and today we're going to talk about prototyping. And that's why I'm super excited to have my great colleagues Edith and Hack back on the show.
Hello.
So guys, 3 months ago you talked about why we should prototype. Can you just give me 3 key highlights from that session?
Well, I think the most important thing is that everyone can prototype.
Yes, and I think the second was the difference between high and low fidelity, and why low fidelity in most cases is superior or easier, and you learn more.
Better.
Yeah.
And there's also the cost versus for non-prototyping versus prototyping. So failing early, learn quicker, and make something amazing in the end.
Yes, so a cheap prototype is a lot better to start off with.
Yeah.
So, but today we're going to do some actual prototyping, and we're going to show you guys how you can do that. And we're going to do some low fidelity prototyping today, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I'm excited. Take it away.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, so when people talk about prototyping, they usually have an idea, a fixed idea in their head. For instance, an app, say with, I don't know, some augmented reality, or a physical device that's tangible. You know, the usual suspects when it comes to prototyping. But today we're going to show you things that you can prototype that doesn't have a physical or tangible or visible interface.
And they don't need to be as beautiful and finished as this one.
No, that's true. That's true. So today we're going to show you how you can prototype processes
And interfaces?
and experiences.
Yes.
All right.
So we have kind of a little workshop right here. So we're going to step into our interface prototype.
Yes.
Yes.
So the overarching theme of the day is onboarding. So we chose that because onboarding, when you starting a new company, or when you have a onboarding process with a new television set or whatever, anything you can think of when it comes to onboarding, it has lots of facets, lots of so-called touch points. And
so what is a touch point? A touch point is when me as a person meets a company, or
it's the point where you interact.
Yes.
It's the point of interaction.
Yeah.
Interaction.
And does it need to be digital? It can be anything, can't it?
Yeah, because so anytime a system can interact with another system, that's also a touch point.
Yeah, but that's kind of a programmatic touch.
Yeah, well, and you can have where businesses meet another business. So the point of interaction is generally what we call a touch point.
Touch point.
All right.
Yes.
But for today, we're going to make a low fidelity app for a new hire.
Yes.
That sounds like a plan.
And something that you send the employee before they actually come and enter the building.
Sure.
So to kind of, I would say, smoothen their experience for the first day.
Yeah, so let's make a paper prototype of an app where you register yourself the first time, so you can get an access card with a photo.
Which is working the first day you come to work.
Yes.
Hopefully.
That sounds really good.
Okay, so then is when...
Before we start.
Sorry.
So a little bit about paper prototyping. So,
yes.
Because we're using terminology that might be available to everyone, but we'll explain. So paper prototyping means that we're drawing on paper or on a whiteboard, but you don't need to draw. You can also have printed stencils with interfaces already done for you. So you don't have to be able to, you don't have to be really stellar at drawing, and you can still make an interface for testing. So.
There we go. So but most of all, you need imagination. That's it.
Yeah, true.
So if we imagine, so this is a screen, and this is a screen for an app.
Yep.
So what's the first thing that would happen if I Telenor notice me, say download this app, or maybe there is a website. I click a link. There must be something that welcomes me. So
let's make a welcome screen.
Let's make a welcome screen. What about a video of Sigve Brekke?
I like it.
Introducing. That would be cool.
Yeah.
So if we have, so here's the video, and there's probably welcome. We're really looking forward to see you, or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. And then, of course,
And that's technically all you need to make a screen, right?
Yes.
So let's say that I click this button. What happens then?
I hope you watched the video first. Though.
No, of course I watched the video. Always watch the video.
Okay, so the next screen. So we click this one. So It's a registration app.
Sure.
So there's some kind of form that you need to fill out. So yeah, we take this one. So there's some, okay, there. There's some information, so it's like first name, last name, ID number, because then we can kind of get your address automatically. That's neat. Yeah. And also probably next of kin.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And what else could we have there?
Maybe phone number?
Yeah, because maybe you need to transfer your phone number. Cool, yeah. So phone number, yeah.
The beauty of this is that you can iterate fairly fast, and if you want to change something, you strike it out and you try something else. So this is a very simple way to create that interface.
This is also a great use of the very old tool, which is called Blanco, or the eraser.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's a long time since I've seen those ones.
Exactly.
Okay, but anyway, so, okay, here's this. And to be able to get the access card, then you need to have a photo.
Sure.
So, okay, there's the photo button there.
Press the camera button.
Okay, all right. So there needs to be a screen of taking a photo.
Sure.
Stick. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll take the photo.
Yeah, hack.
It adds hair.
Yeah, one. Sure. Okay, and then, so you're happy with the picture?
Sure.
And you press, oh, dang. Okay. Yeah?
Done. I press OK.
Okay.
Cool.
And then what happens? So then we're actually back to this one again.
Yeah.
And I guess there's probably a picture.
Yeah.
And there's probably also like an OK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Or you cancel because you had to do something else. But
sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And then, so what would be cool then? So it would be nice to actually know a little bit about the prep for the first day. Like,
sure.
Where's the office? Like, we're in Fornebu now, and Fornebu is huge. So which building and what sort? And maybe like a contact person.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's say here you could have, so contact, for example, telephone, so telephone number, location, so Fornebu, but location on the house. Yeah, it can.
And this map you can replace with anything you want, either you hand draw it or a pre-printed one. So that works beautifully. Now, this is really nice to iterate over the idea. So now that we've done prototyping of the ideation phase,
yes,
a lot of prototypes you want to test them, right? So you want to take it to users or send it to some users. So this lends itself fairly well to a person present. You just tell them click a button and you just replace the stencils, which works really fine. However, this is very simple to put on your phone, so you could have a testable app.
Cool.
So let's just pretend to do that now.
Okay, so we can start with this one. So yeah.
Sure. I'll be taking a photo of each of these interfaces.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. This one.
Ooh.
The next one.
And then it was kind of like this one.
Sure.
Yeah.
And the last one.
And the last one.
Boom. All right, cool. So while we wait for that to upload to the clouds.
To heaven?
Yeah, to heaven. We'll just cheat a little bit. Oh, have you seen my new app?
What?
Do you want to test my onboarding app?
What is it? Okay, cool. I'll test it.
Yeah,
so,
sure.
Oh, there's a movie of Sigve Becker. That's pretty cool. Okay. And then first name, last name. Mm-hmm. Oh, I can upload a picture. Yeah. Oh, cool. Okay. And I check my info. Okay. Why did that happen? Okay. Something happened. And some information. Awesome.
Sure. And now we made a testable paper prototype that you can test on your phone, fairly simple. So we cheated a little bit in order to save time,
yes.
And we hope that works. Now,
but the key takeaway is that it's really simple.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
And it can basically, like now, we just took pictures, and you can just shuffle through pictures. You don't have to open in any program or anything. So that basically means everyone can do it, doesn't it?
Yeah. Now, so that means exactly everyone can make a testable prototype that they can test on a device, an iPad or a phone, or what you might have. And if you don't want to test it on a phone, you can still test it on paper, and then you just shuffle the different pages and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But we kind of recommend everyone to start with paper, don't we?
Yeah, no, we're fans of low fidelity.
Yes. Paper and pen is the most
Accessible.
found and accessible tools that you have.
However, there's stuff that you can't prototype because it doesn't have an interface. It's not tangible and it doesn't have a screen. I meant to do that. And
or it has many different screens or many systems that you interact with, or
complexity, or a lot of those. Something complex is hard to prototype using paper because it will take a really long time.
Yeah.
So we'll show a different way of prototyping these processes, or services,
or customer journeys, or. Yeah, it's basically so. I introduced this last time. If you think of time as a material to work with, this is a good example of that. So things are happening over time.
Yes.
In an onboarding experience, you are talking on the phone, you're receiving an email, there's a contract, there's something physical.
An interview.
There's an interview. There's
getting the access card.
Which we just kind of fixed.
Downloading the app and so on and so forth. Like I said, in the onboarding process, there's the heaps of stuff that's happening.
And there's heaps of stuff that can go wrong.
Exactly.
Yes.
So now we'll show a way to show how we could prototype the different touch points that a person...
And the journey along it.
Yeah, exactly, that a person experiences.
Yes.
So this is Batman. So he's going to work for Telenor.
Well, it's actually you, isn't it?
So
if you think of this as a path, so here's the beginning, and
come on, Batman, stick.
Here's the beginning, and here's the path to where you are at Telenor, and beyond, because things are happening after here too.
Sure.
So we have these cards. So these are representing kind of like touch points. So it's just simpler, but you can also do this as easy as, drawing. Yeah. So this could be a mail, or you just play around.
You downloaded the app.
Or that you have a telephone as a Lego block. So, but we're using this card for simplicity this time. So, okay, I'm going to take some. So, for example, so what is happening? App widget, I guess that's what we made just now.
Sure. So that's before the self-service?
Yeah, that's before the self-service.
Oh, welcome package. That's probably after
you signed the contract.
You signed the contract.
Okay.
Maybe a brochures that made Batman interested in working for Telenor.
Oh, that could also be like word of mouth, for example.
Yeah.
Like there's many ways you could have heard about it. A business card. This I guess is happening.
That's after.
That's after
Same thing
the door.
with instructions. That's right before. They quit. Yeah.
Smartphone.
Yeah.
That will be here.
Perhaps after they're hired.
Yeah.
Sure.
After hired. Signature. Oh, I got contract one.
Yep.
So contract would be here, I guess. So yeah, contract.
So now we're showing the journey that Batman has to go through in order before this is stuff that's happening before the classical onboarding and different touch points that he will interact with.
And also systems in the back, because I guess there's many different actors. It's the one that's hire you, the boss of the one that's hire you, HR is into this. Many.
However, sometimes you want to prototype something different than just the process. Maybe you want to improve some of these experiences. So you want to take some of these touch points and take them from, from confused to clear. So we have a card for that. So we say the self-service, maybe they're confused. So we want to improve that. That's the feedback we've gotten once they've done their after they're hired, we do an after-hire interview.
Yeah.
And then what was the best thing that happened? What was the worst? And they might tell us, oh, yeah, that part really confused us because the app or the non-existing app, whatever, didn't exist.
Or, for example, it could be that you get called in for a first interview. You have the feeling that you did a really good interview, and then they don't call for a very long time. So you get very insecure.
Exactly.
So how can we actually fix that? So by looking at a journey like this, you can identify what we call as the pain points and how you can actually turn those pain points away. But this is the human perspective of it. So this is me having an emotion, an experience, meeting Telenor. and becoming part of Telenor.
Now, the beauty of a prototype like this is that if we decide that, there are divergent paths. So one is the self-service, they have to download their own contract and so on and so forth. That's very simple to visualize and then try the different paths and see how which interaction points or which touch points are involved and how to improve them and then just turn them from doubted into trusted.
And you can add. So, for example, would it be cool if I get an SMS as a reminder on my interview? That could be cool. Or maybe, I don't know. Just things along the way that would improve the experience and also improve our interaction with the new employee.
And also a way to visualize hindrances. So they go through the path. So we always go for the happy path. We always believe that Batman is always able to go through every step of the journey with no hindrances.
And everything works.
He's obviously had too much to drink. Stupid Batman. So he'll have these hindrances, and this is a way to visualize the hindrances that he will experience or might have experienced, and that way we can make these divergent paths and improve upon them. So this is another way to show a process over time.
Yes.
And it could include this path or technical elements.
It could be so it's the difference from like outside in and inside out. Because the outside in experience is very often very different to how it's experienced from the outside in.
Exactly.
So looking from the outside in, you start with the person that is, has a need, in this case, money and job and interesting place to work. So a couple of needs that need to be addressed, and then how can we meet those needs and how can we make this person feel secure along the way and make this a nice experience. But then you have all the insides, so it needs to go through HR, it needs to be registered in that system, and this needs to be running there and back and forth. But it's really, really a good way to actually visualize something that happens over time. And there's something about when people see something visualized and making things tangible, just making those connections that you kind of see. Because if I presented you like a line and then just ticks along the way, everything looks perfect. But this you kind of work with something tangible.
Yeah, you get to play to see the different complexities involved. How many people does Batman have to talk to in order to get hired, and so on and so forth. There are many ways to visualize a process. We really like this one because it's a little bit different. It's a little bit more visually appealing, and it stirs more creativity, and it's a little bit more playful than the general PowerPoint of box, next box, next box that you generally tend to see. So this is a different way of prototyping a process.
But it could be like a flow diagram, like computer system talking together and where things break, and
And those are the traditional ways of showing these processes in a flow chart.
It's kind of funny to see though, because this is actually a diagram, but it's a very playful one.
Yeah. It's got lots of elements. It's really complex. It has different dimensions, but still fairly easy to understand.
And very easy to communicate.
Yeah. Well, now we come to the third prototype. So we've shown how you can prototype something that has an interface or tangible, a process. And the question that we get quite often is, how do you prototype stuff that doesn't have an interface or is tangible or can easily be shown in a chart or a diagram? And the last one, we call it experience. So another word for it is role play or enactment. And essentially, the whole prototype session has been an enactment of how to prototype.
So, but just to give you an example, so for a telephone call, so the first time, so you're Telenor, I'm Batman, yay, and you call me, but just how that conversation will pan out, which would be like how can we enact, and how is this conversation, and what do you say to secure me?
Exactly, and so on and so forth.
And how do you communicate our brand, for example?
And on this onboarding theme, the enactment would be, how do you conduct the interview, right? How's your first day experience? Those are things that are very hard to visualize, but when you do it, like sit down and then talk to someone, you get a different experience. You see that, oh yeah, by the way, this doesn't flow well, or we're asking questions that are inappropriate or illegal sometimes, or stuff that's interesting, engaging, and then you figure that out through actually role play and just playing out the
But it's the same concept actually as a paper prototype, because and when you digitize it, it's something about having something that's tangible in the hand, so you actually experience how it feels to talk to this person or interact with this interface or whatever, really.
Absolutely.
Or anything.
And these prototypes, they lend themselves to being low fidelity, meaning that they are open-ended. So you'll have more opportunities to learn or discover or explore steps that you didn't think of in the beginning. Whereas high fidelity prototypes, as per usual, they're locked down. You get feedback on the specifics, while these are more open-ended, and you'll have a more area to explore, so to say.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Perfect, guys. Thank you. I learned a lot. I'm thinking that the next time I'm hosting a press conference or a media interview, I can actually prototype it before and learn something. So that's cool. And I never thought I could do any prototyping in my job. So thank you.
Everyone can prototype.
Everyone can prototype. We learned that the last time. Final question I just have to ask. What's your favorite prototype that you guys have done in your career? Edith, starting with you.
I think the coolest prototype I did was a prototype that focused on gamification in the classroom, where there was a PhD student that wanted to test if she could use gamification to get students more engaged in learning French.
Cool.
So she tested it and it worked. But what was really cool about it was that we had an intern, and me and the intern had 1 week where we just paper prototyped the whole thing and used that as the basis to get the developer to actually develop it for her.
Amazing.
Yeah, so it was really cool.
Cool. And Hack, what's your favorite?
Well, my favorite is the one that I did for Blindeforbundet, the organization for the visually impaired, where I made an app that recognizes objects. So you could go in a shop and it would tell you this is milk and this is juice or stuff, so that it could help them do their shopping.
Cool. And did you start off with a low fidelity on that one, or did you go straight to more advanced testing?
Well, that started off as a high fidelity prototype, because that would have been really hard to paper prototype, because you wanted to get their experiences of such a device, whereas this didn't require much of their imagination. It actually worked. You pointed it at something that told you what it was, versus explaining that, oh, by the way, now you're pointing it at
towards a milk, and it's telling you
exactly, which would perhaps cause more friction. So I was testing something very specific, and therefore a high fidelity was appropriate.
Cool. Thank you so much. Then I just want to remind everyone that to tune in next month, because then we're going to talk about how to pitch. So that's all from us. I think you have a final little line you're going to say.
Yeah, so on the first episode, we showed why you should prototype.
Yeah.
And this episode, we hopefully have shown you how you can prototype. There's a third element, and that's how you test prototypes.
And it's kind of the most important one.
Yeah, it's kind of where you get your knowledge.
Yes.
So we'd love to do a episode 3. And with that, I'll just say that if you fail to prototype, you're prototyping for failure.
And then Hack did some pitching, so that's perfect. He pitched himself into our show. Brilliant. Thank you for watching, everyone. Bye.